Beijing and Shanghai are officially on soft lockdown, with residential communities and villages limiting access for non-residents. Chinese leader Xi Jinping emerges to inspect coronavirus hospitals while wearing a mask. It's his first outing after weeks of remaining mostly out of public view. A new report from inside China says more than 10% of confirmed virus patients didn't even have a fever. Funeral homes in Wuhan are on the brink of collapse as they struggle with equipment and manpower shortages. Interviews with 2 funeral homes inside Wuhan revealed that crematoriums are now burning 4 or 5 times as many bodies a day. One Wuhan mother is worried about the virus's impact on her family, but doesn't think the virus itself is to blame.
我们不是被病情害成这样的，是被这种制度和机制。
One doctor turned whistleblower who shared information online about the dangers of the virus has died after being reprimanded by the Chinese regime, sparking widespread anger.
Across China, people are heading back to work today after the Lunar New Year holiday was prolonged due to the coronavirus outbreak. Yet even in Beijing, many shops and workplaces remain closed. As of Sunday and Monday, Beijing and Shanghai are on soft lockdown, which means access is limited to non-residents. Checkpoints are set up to test people's body temperature, and only residents' cars are allowed inside communities. A complete lockdown could go into effect if confirmed cases of the coronavirus are found. Beijing is one of the highest risk cities in China as millions return from traveling over the Lunar New Year holidays. Due to the outbreak, many schools have closed their doors. Schools in Shanghai will reopen in March, while Beijing has not yet announced when its schools will reopen. This comes as the coronavirus shows no signs of slowing and inconsistencies on the incubation period of the novel coronavirus. New research from China shows it generally takes 3 days from the time of infection for symptoms to appear. But at the longest, it can take up to 24 days. That's much longer than 14 days, which was assumed to be the longest time before. This raises the question, is the 2-week-long quarantine enough? According to 1,099 confirmed cases from 552 Chinese hospitals, 87.9% of patients had a fever. That means more than 10% of confirmed virus cases never showed a higher body temperature. This raises another question: is measuring body temperature really enough? U.S. public health officials are currently working to understand how the coronavirus is transmitted, but some are worried that super spreaders, or people who transmit germs much faster and further than other people, may infect dozens. An advanced team of World Health Organization experts has arrived in China to help lay the groundwork for a larger team. And today, the UK announced that the coronavirus outbreak is a serious and imminent threat to public health. This after 4 more cases were confirmed, raising the total in Britain to 8. Chinese officials confirmed on Saturday the coronavirus can be transmitted through the air. Being airborne means it can be mixed into water vapor in the air and then infect people if they breathe it in. It can also be transmitted through contact by touching a contaminated surface. While China battles the coronavirus outbreak, America has seen a surge in flu cases. Hospitals in America are already swamped. Now they're bracing for a potential influx of coronavirus patients. Many of the medical supplies and drugs needed to fight the epidemics come from China. That raises another question: how dependent is the U.S. health system on China? There is already a shortage of surgical masks as many factories in China were closed for the Lunar New Year holidays. Many factories are still closed. A Chinese employee in Silicon Valley posted a video saying that the flu epidemic in the U.S. is serious, killing 6,000 to 7,000 people, and that schools and shops are temporarily closed. She showed parking lots with very few cars. This video was viewed over 6 million times and even attracted the attention of viewers from mainland China. But as some Chinese people living in Silicon Valley pointed out, the schools were not closed. They said this woman took pictures of parking lots before people came to work and before the shops opened for regular business hours. Another factor involved is that the death rate calculation method in China is different than in the U.S. If someone has the flu and then dies of a heart attack, this will be counted as a flu death in America, while in China, it would be labeled as a heart attack. Now to China itself. The extended Lunar New Year holiday ends today amid the coronavirus outbreak. It's the first day people can return to work, but Beijing still looks like a ghost town. Beijing's usually hectic morning commute virtually empty on Monday due to the coronavirus outbreak. Many workplaces and shops remain closed. On the first day to restart work after an extended Lunar New Year holiday, one worker said he would wear a disposable mask even in the office.
I brought some disposal masks to work because it's densely populated in the office and the air doesn't flow.
He said this way he's being responsible to himself and others. On Monday, Chinese leader Xi Jinping also made a rare public appearance wearing a mask. He has hardly been seen since the coronavirus outbreak began. He visited a Beijing neighborhood and one of the hospitals that treats people with coronavirus. Across Beijing, many shops inside a local shopping mall are still empty and few customers are seen. Security staff at a local shopping mall in Beijing's commercial area checked visitors' temperatures at the entrance. A cleaner at a shopping mall can be seen sanitizing the hallways. A reporter asks him if he comes here every day. He says he does. He comes every single day and multiple times a day. City authorities require everyone traveling back to Beijing from epidemic zones to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. The outbreak is inflicting a growing toll on businesses and consumers throughout the nation. Strict transport curbs have been imposed, with many Chinese cities in virtual lockdown, affecting over 50 million people. The virus has also spread to at least 27 countries and territories, infecting more than 330 people outside of China. Wuhan has added thousands of beds by building 2 new hospitals and converting gyms and other spaces for patients. But residents say the medical system is completely overwhelmed. Concern is rising that the effort has come too late.
Inside the quarantine zone, people say the medical system is overloaded. Rong Qin is 32 years old. 15 days ago, her 67-year-old father was infected with the virus. She says the situation is out of control because of the city's system and mechanisms, not the illness. While her father waited for his virus test results, Rong started coughing and developed a high fever.
When we, ordinary citizens, got to know the highly infectious nature of this disease, it was already too late. We are not scientists. We didn't know it was so infectious. We were originally told that it could not be transmitted from human to human.
Rong has a family of 6, living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Her husband is not yet infected, but her mother is now also showing some minor signs of infection. She's almost in tears when she talks about her family's situation.
I have 2 children. One is 3 and the other one is only 1 month old. They are at an age where they need to be looked after by someone.
After a long wait, the authorities gave Rong an alternative accommodation for her children and husband. Her father has been placed on the lengthy waiting list for a hospital bed. She is worried his case may turn severe because of the endless waiting.
In an unusual move, Chinese netizens are posting selfies demanding freedom of speech, and it was sparked by the death of a whistleblower. NTD's Juliet Song reports.
Chinese netizens are starting an online movement demanding freedom of speech following the death of the doctor who blew the whistle on the coronavirus and later died of the infection. Dr. Li Wenliang's death sparked an unusual outpouring of grief and anger on Chinese social media. To mourn Li, some social media users, mostly younger people, posted selfies wearing face masks or holding up paper that says, "We can't do it. We don't understand." The quote is a response to the punishment that Li got after he warned his friends in an online chat room that he was seeing new pneumonia-like cases. He was summoned by Wuhan police and signed a letter saying his warning was untrue. The letter listed 2 questions. The first question asks whether he could stop his illegal behavior, to which Li wrote, "Yes, I can." The second said, "Do you understand you will be punished if you continue this illegal behavior?" Li signed, "I understand." Some netizens' photos also show them holding up the quote, "I demand freedom of speech," and "A healthy society should not just have one voice." Now, a famous quote once said by Li. These photos were quickly deleted on major Chinese social platforms such as Weibo, but overseas Chinese are also responding to this demand. Last Sunday, about 100 Chinese people gathered in Manhattan's Central Park. They held activities mourning Dr. Li in all black. Face masks with the quote, "We can't do it, we don't understand," are scattered around the banner that says, "Whistles that wake up China." Chinese users on overseas Twitter also started using the hashtag. Reporting by Juliet Song, NTD News.
How many people have died since the coronavirus outbreak in China began, really? And what's the true situation in Wuhan, China? One source of information is funeral homes in Wuhan. Our undercover reporter called them up, and the numbers they disclosed are heart-wrenching.
你要是听真话还是要听假话？我现在我本人都要快崩溃了。我们现在每天的运息量和火化量是平时的4到5倍。
This is an official from a government-owned funeral home in Wuhan, the epicenter of China's coronavirus outbreak. NTD distorted the voice to protect the official's identity. The person was talking to an NTD reporter who posed as a member of China's central government. The funeral home official says the number of bodies they received skyrocketed in recent weeks, peaking at 127 on February 3rd. But he said that's not the number being recorded officially.
我昨天总共接运的遗体127个，烧掉了116个。
OK。
然后确诊数是8个。我这是全部有死亡证书在我手上的。
Only about 6% of the deaths are recorded as confirmed cases. If other funeral homes in Wuhan are in the same situation, where only 6% of the deaths are counted officially as part of the coronavirus death toll, the real number of lives claimed by the virus could be over 10,000. The official says that many of the patients weren't even able to be treated before passing away.
38%是医院接来的。61%是在家里死亡的。所以说这个就医的情况很不好，前几天。
对。
你想想，60%都在家里死的。
The person says local officials tell them to get rid of the bodies within an hour and a half, but because there are so many bodies, the funeral homes are stretched to their limit.
我真的是承受不了了。我昨天跟我的局长说，我说我就哪天疯了，我就自己要去跳楼了。我说你给我下的这些任务，我真完成不了。武汉市这帮狗官把这个城市管理的一塌糊涂，是他们这样搞下去，这个不敢想象的。
People who speak out with views different from the Chinese regime continue to be under threat. China has summoned or detained several doctors and citizen journalists since the outbreak started.
Here at China in Focus, we bring you first-hand information from inside China. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates.